Hi, in this lesson we'll learn an easy method to play expanded left-hand jazz chords. We'll do that by using only 3 main grips. Let me demonstrate the sound we can make when mastering the 3 grips. The chord progression above, or at least parts of it, you may recognize from many jazz tunes. It's a simple sequence of descending fifths. The progression contains all the most common jazz chords, so we'll use this progression in this lesson. By the way, the drum and bass backing track I made for the occasion you can play back by the end of this lesson. This is a new jazz lesson, by the way, and my name is Oliver Prehn. Okay, to play the chords above, I use only 3 grips. This one, and this one. We name the 3 grips grip 1, grip 2, and grip 3. Let's start by using just a few moments to investigate the 3 grips before playing our chord progression. Grip 1 is actually a major 7 chord. Well, if G is the key note. But if we play, for example, E in the bass, we have a completely different chord quality. The minor 7 chord quality with a really nice 9th expansion added. Now what we want to do is to play these minor 7 chords in a sequence of fifths. So the next minor 7 chord is placed a fifth below the A minor 7 chord. But these 2 chords are a little far away from each other, right? So what we do is that we invert our grip 1 by moving the 2 lower notes up an octave. We name these 2 inversions grip 1A and 1B. So now we can make a smooth progression from E minor 7 to A minor 7. Nice, right? Now the really great thing is that we only have to learn our grip 1 in these 2 A and B inversions to be able to make smooth chord progressions. So now we can play our minor 7 chords in a sequence of fifths from E minor 7 to A minor 7 to D minor 7 and so on. With this simple little exercise, we walk through the expanded minor 7 chords in all 12 tonalities, just by using our 2 inversions of grip 1. move on. Grip 2 looks like this. It's almost like grip 1. But we simply just lower this single note. If we play A in the bass, we have the dominant 7 chord quality with a really nice 9th and 13th expansion. Now let's do a sequence of fifths. So the next chord is a D7 chord. But again, we make a rather huge jump. So we move the 2 lower notes up with an octave. And we have this second inversion of our grip 2. And surprise! We name these 2 inversions grip 2A and grip 2B. Again, we only have to learn these 2 inversions to be able to manage almost any chord progression. So now we can smoothly walk from A7 to D7. Now, let's continue our sequence of fifths. So, with this simple little exercise, we actually learn all 12 tonalities of the expanded dominant 7th chord. Now, we can play totally different chord qualities by using our very same grip 2. It all depends on the position of the grip, compared with the position of the bass note. So, this was our A dominant 7th, 9th, 13th chord. But with E flat in the bass, we have the dominant 7th altered chord. Nice sound, right? Let's play our sequence of fifths. Please note that we play the exact same grip 2 sequence as before in the left hand. The only difference is that we have dislocated our bass notes, and therefore our sound has changed completely. Now, if we play E in the bass with our grip 2 here, we have a very tonic sounding minor chord with the 6th and 9th expansions added. Let's do our sequence. And again, we simply just reuse our grip progression. The only difference is the bass notes. If we have our grip 2 here and the bass note here, we actually have the minor 7th flat 5 chord quality with a suspended effect that we can resolve. But often I like to keep this suspended effect actually. And again, we can do the exact same exercise. Now, isn't that great? We can play several different chord qualities by using the very same grip too. So, very soon we are ready to play jazz. We just need to look into one final and very easy grip 3. This grip is simply formed by the pentatonic scale. The really fantastic thing is that this grip 3 we only have to learn in one inversion, this inversion. With our pinky on the F sharp note, we do a minor pentatonic hand grip. But with the bass note on A, we have the major chord quality, expanded with the 6th and the 9th step. And if we change the relationship between grip and bass, and place our grip here, we have a very similar chord quality. The 6th, 9th, major 7th chord. These two chord qualities sound very much alike. And I use the two positions randomly, no matter if I see a major 7 or a 6th chord. Often I make small mnemonic rules on where to place my grip. In this case, I like to watch the thumb. It must be placed on either the 5th or the 9th compared to the bass note, right? So now we can make our sequence of fifths. A with the thumb on the 5th, to D with the thumb on the 9th compared to the D bass note. So we can just keep our grip at the very same position, right? To G with the thumb on the nearby 5th. To C with the thumb on the 9th. To F with the thumb on the 5th, and so on. By doing this simple little exercise, we actually learn the major chords in every tonality. Now we have actually learned all we need to know to play expanded, smooth, left-hand jazz chord progressions. So now, finally, we are going to play music. So stay tuned. Above the keys we have the chord progression from the beginning of this lesson. Now the first chord is a minor 7 quality. So yes, we use grip 1 and drag down the A minor 7 chord. Next chord is a dominant 7 chord. So we drag down grip 2. Now look, really nice smooth progression from A minor 7 to D7, right? Now the next chord is a major quality. So we drag down grip 3. And grip 3 once more. So now we have this progression. And yes, we can use the same position of grip 3 to play both the G major 7 chord and the C major 7 chord. Okay, next we have the minor 7 flat 5 quality. So let's drag down grip 2 once more. Look, same position as with the D 7th chord. Now we have just changed the bass note to F sharp. And we have a completely different chord quality. The next chord is a B dominant 7 chord. Now let's really spice up this chord and drag down the altered dominant 7th chord from grip 2. Sounds like this. And let's try to invert this grip. And then we have the E minor tonic chord. So let's once more drag down grip 2. And we have this sound. Now let's play the entire progression. Let's try this out with our backing track. Feel free to thin out the grips occasionally to make variations. We don't have to play the entire grips and expanded chords all the time. When I play, I just like to think the entire grip. In that way, I have the extra notes ready, so to speak. Okay, before the usual little surprise by the end of the video, let me just give you all many thanks for all the support you give me, all the really nice messages, likes and subscriptions. And thank you so much to those who make voluntary donations. With these donations I can cut down my regular daytime work and make even more music lessons here on YouTube. If you feel for it, you are of course so much welcome to donate a small amount on PayPal or Patreon. But please note, all my lessons are free, public and for everybody, as music should be. So don't feel obligated to donate anything. Now, are you still here? Great. Then you may also be ready for the usual little last section with some extra material before I play back the backing track. Now, if you want to learn more about the 3 left-hand grips, I have actually made 3 separate lessons. 1 lesson for each grip. In these 3 lessons we do useful exercises and we walk through each of the 3 grips much more thoroughly. I have gathered this and the 3 other related lessons in a single playlist if you want to dig deeper into the left-hand chords. I'll paste a link below. Well, you may also have noticed that occasionally I have been improvising with the right hand as well. If you want to dig deeper into the right hand improvisation stuff, I have made 2 other lessons about improvising over the very same chord progression as in this lesson. The first lesson is about doing arpeggios over the chord notes. And the second lesson is a follow-up lesson that shows you a lot of nice tricks you can add to the arpeggios. I'll paste a link to a playlist containing the 2 other lessons about the right hand. And here comes the little surprise. In the next lesson, we'll learn to improvise over our very same chord progression with our right hand, just by using a single triad hand grip. That will for sure be fun. And now, let's play back the backing track, and you can exercise all the stuff we have learned so far. So enjoy your music. The best and warm regards from Oliver Prehn. Bye.